You know that random phone charger you ordered online? Yeah, it might be stuck somewhere off the coast of Yemen right now. Every day, billions of dollars worth of stuff, clothes, electronics, oil, food, travels through a skinny strip of ocean called the Red Sea. It's one of the busiest shipping routes in the world, but lately it has become a danger zone. Ships are being attacked, hijacked, hit with missiles and drones, not by a navy, not by some rogue state, but by a rebel group. This is more than just a conflict over there. It's jamming up global trade, delaying shipments, and yep, it's hitting your wallet. So what's going on in the Red Sea? Who's attacking these ships and why now? And the big one, how does a rebel group in Yemen end up affecting the price of your next purchase? Let's break it down. The who, the why, and just how deep this chaos runs. My name is Sham, and let's unravel this thread. Alright, take a look at this map. You've got the Suez Canal in the Egypt at top, the Bab al-Mandeb Strait down near Yemen at the bottom, and in between, a major highway for global trade. Except it's on water. The Red Sea might not look like much on a map, but it's an absolute beast when it comes to traffic. Roughly 12% of all global trade flows through here. We're talking about $1 trillion worth of goods every year. Oil, gas, iPhones, sneakers, furniture. Your next online impulse buy probably sails through here. And if you remember the Ever Given, that giant container ship that got stuck sideways in the Suez Canal back in 2021, you'll know how fragile all this is. That one ship cost global trade nearly $10 billion a day. Well, guess what? We're dealing with a new kind of traffic jam now. But this time, it's not an accident. It's a full-on threat. Since late 2023, a Yemeni rebel group called the Houthis has been attacking ships in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. Not just scaring them off, we are talking drone strikes, anti-ship missiles, and even straight-up hijackings. One wild example is a group of armed militants literally flew in on a helicopter, boarded a cargo ship called the Galaxy Leader, and took the crew hostage. Yes, like something out of a Tom Clancy movie, except it actually happened. At first, the Houthis claimed they were only targeting ships connected to Israel as a part of their support for Palestinians during the Gaza conflict. But that didn't last long. Now they're hitting ships from all over, the US, UK, European nations, you name it, over 100 attacks and counting. Some days, there's more military presence than commercial ships in the Red Sea. What used to be a super efficient trade route is now a full-on war zone. But who exactly is turning one of the world's busiest shipping lane into a war zone? Time to meet the group behind the chaos. Meet Houthis, a rebel group from Yemen. Now, these guys didn't just pop out of thin air. They've been around since 1990s, originally starting as a movement from the Zaydi Shia Muslim community in the northern Yemen. Think of it like a local revival group at first, pushing back against marginalization, trying to reclaim cultural identity, that sort of things. But things escalated fast. By 2004, they were clashing with the Yemen's government. By 2014, they took over Yemen's capital, Sana'a, and boom, full-blown civil war. Since then, they've been locked in a nasty fight with Yemen's internationally recognized government, backed heavily by Saudi Arabia and by extension, the US. It's been brutal. Bombings, blockades, famine. It's one of those long-running wars that doesn't get enough headlines, but leaves behind massive humanitarian crisis. Now, here's the deal. The Houthis aren't just running around with AK-47s in the desert. They've got serious firepower. We're talking ballistic missiles, anti-ship cruise missiles, drones, naval mines, armed speedboats, you name it. In 2019, they pulled off a jaw-dropping drone strike on Saudi's oil facility that temporarily wiped out 5% of world's oil supply. Yeah, they're not amateurs. A lot of experts say Iran is behind much of this, providing weapons, training, and tech. The Houthis claim we built it ourselves. Sure. And their ideology, well, let's just say they're not shy. Their slogan, and this is real, is death to America, death to Israel, curse the Jews, victory to Islam. Hard to misinterpret that. The Houthis are proving that even as a non-state group, they can punch way above their weight. They have basically turned the Red Sea, a global trade artery, into their own personal pressure point. That's not just rebellion, that's strategy. So, why are the Houthis doing all of this? Why turn one of the world's busiest trade routes into a war zone? Well, if you ask them, it's all about Palestine. Ever since the war in Gaza heated up in late 2023, the Houthis have been positioning themselves as defenders of the Palestinian cause. They say they're only targeting ships linked to Israel, kind of like vigilante sea patrol. But here's the thing, that claim, that ship sailed. In reality, they've hit vessels from countries that have zero connection to Israel. Some were just passing through, minding their own business. It's like setting fire to freeway because one car honked at you. Everyone else gets caught in the flames. So what's really going on? It's not just about solidarity, it's about status. By attacking international shipping, the Houthis are basically saying, hey world, we are not just a ragtag group from Yemen. We are a force to be reckoned with. And here's the thing, it's working. They've gotten the attention of the US, Europe, Saudi Arabia, and every global shipping giant. Suddenly, they're not just a local militia. They are on the international stage, commanding headlines and disrupting economies. This boost in visibility strengthens their bargaining power back home. In a chaotic place like Yemen, where alliances shift like desert sand, looking like a powerful resistance group gets you leverage. Whether it's in peace talks, deals, or domestic politics. And don't forget their old enemy, Saudi Arabia. The Houthis and the Saudis have been locked in a proxy war for nearly a decade. And while peace talks are happening in the background, there's still a ton of bad blood. By turning up the heat in the Red Sea, the Houthis are essentially saying, you want peace? Then come to the table and bring something worthwhile. This is strategic. This is about optics, power, and negotiation. They're using shipping lanes as a leverage, not just to shout about Gaza, but to climb the geopolitical ladder. And they have shown they're willing to risk an international firefight to do it. Because when rebels can jack up oil prices and shipping costs from halfway across the world, that's not just politics, that's personal. If you have made it this far and you're finding this breakdown helpful, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps more people find this video. And if you are new here, we do deep dives like this all the time, so hit subscribe and join this thread. Now let's zoom out and see how this crisis is hitting your wallet. You might be thinking, okay, rebel group attacked ships. That sucks, but what does that have to do with me? A lot, way more than you would think. So here's the reality. Big shipping companies like Maersk, MSC, Hapag-Lloyd have started rerouting their cargo ships away from the Red Sea. Instead, they're taking long way around Africa, around the Cape of Good Hope. That detour, it adds 10 to 14 days to every trip, thousands of extra miles and roughly $1 million in extra fuel per voyage. Yeah, per trip. And those costs, they don't just disappear. They get passed right down the line, from shipping companies to the retailers to you. That $20 t-shirt you're eyeing might suddenly cost $25 and show up 2 weeks late. And it's not just t-shirts. Everything from electronics to appliances to car parts is getting delayed. Big brands like IKEA and Abercrombie & Fitch have already said, hey, your orders might be a bit late. Blame the Red Sea. And here's the deal. The global shipping system is built on tight schedules. It's like a giant game of Jenga. You pull out one piece or block one shipping lane and the whole thing starts to wobble. That's what's happening now. We have already lost 15% to 20% of global shipping capacity in just a few months. That's massive. Oh, and the insurance companies. They are not thrilled either. Rates are going up because, well, who wants to insure a ship sailing into a war zone? So we've got rising shipping costs, slower deliveries, less availability, and higher prices at checkout. And that's just consumer goods. Let's talk about oil. In the first half of 2024, the amount of oil flowing through Bab el-Mandeb Strait, the key choke point in Red Sea, dropped over 50%. That's huge. Less oil going through means tighter supply, and that means, higher gas prices. So the next time you're at the pump or scrolling through inflated prices on Amazon, just remember, a rebel group in Yemen hijacking a cargo ship halfway across the world might actually be a part of the reason. This isn't just a regional issue. It's a full-on global economic aftershock, and you're already feeling it. So, with all this chaos in Red Sea, how's the world responding? Well, the US basically said, alright, that's enough of this, and kicked off something called Operation Prosperity Guardian in December 2023. Sounds like a sci-fi movie, but it's really just a big multinational mission to patrol the Red Sea and protect commercial ships from getting blown up. And it's not just the US out there. The UK, France, Italy, Canada, Spain, the Netherlands, even Seychelles. Yep, the tropical vacation spot, all sent naval forces to join in. It's like a high-stakes version of Neighborhood Watch. Except, instead of binoculars and flashlights, everyone's got warships and missiles. But that's just the defensive side. The US and UK have also been going on offense, launching airstrikes inside Yemen to hit Houthi infrastructure. Radar system, missile sites, drone warehouses, command centers. Basically, if you use it to attack ships, we're gonna blow it up. So, has it worked? Kind of. US officials say Houthi attacks have dropped, drone strikes down by over 50%, missile attacks down almost 70%. But here's the catch. The Houthis haven't stopped. They have just slowed down. And not everyone is thrilled about how this is being handled. Some of America's allies like France, Italy, and Spain are, let's say, skeptical. They're doing their own naval operations instead of joining the US-led mission. Kind of like saying, yeah, we care, but we'll handle this our way. Plus, there's a growing chorus of critics who worry this whole bomb first, ask later strategy could backfire. Why? Because it risks pulling the West deeper into Yemen's civil war, a conflict that's already messy enough without adding more foreign missiles into the mix. And every airstrike runs the risk of civilian casualties, which only makes peace talks harder. So now we got warships crowding the Red Sea, fighter jets bombing Yemen, and a whole lot of diplomatic tension over who's doing what. And all of this, just to keep your Amazon orders, fuel supply, and global trade system from falling apart. Alright, time for the big question. How are Houthis this powerful? Like they are rebels in a war-torn country. So, how do they have missiles that can sink cargo ships and drones that can hit oil refineries hundreds of miles away? Answer: Iran. Now, officially, Iran is like, Houthis, oh yeah, we support their cause, but we don't tell them what to do. But unofficially, all signs point to Iran being the one handing them the toolbox, weapons, training, satellite tech, and military advisors. Not to mention access to parts for advanced drones and cruise missiles. Stuff you don't just cobble together in a cave with scrap metal. It's not charity though. This is a classic proxy warfare. A geopolitical move straight out of Iran's playbook. See, Iran has this unofficial alliance called the Axis of Resistance. Groups across the Middle East that all share one common thing: opposing US and Israeli influence. The Houthis, they fit right in. So instead of firing missiles directly and risking all-out war, Iran backs proxy groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon, militias in Iraq, and the Houthis in Yemen. It's like Iran's playing a real-life game of chess, and the Houthis are one of their most effective pieces. And let's be honest, it works. By disrupting shipping in the Red Sea, the Houthis are putting pressure on the US and its allies without Iran ever firing a shot. It's smart, it's sneaky, and it sends a very loud message. You mess with us or our allies, we can mess with your global trade. And there's another bonus for Iran. It's a way to poke at Saudi Arabia, their longtime regional rival. Supporting the Houthis is like backing your enemy's neighbor in a fight. You don't have to step in yourself, but you can keep them bleeding. So, no, Iran isn't launching the attacks, but its fingerprints, they're all over this. So far, we've been focused on the Red Sea. But here's the thing, this crisis isn't staying local. It's starting to ripple out and fast, with Iran backing Houthis, and with tensions already sky high across the Middle East, there's a real risk this thing could blow up into something bigger. Think about it. We've got Israel clashing with Hezbollah in the north, militia still active in Iraq and Syria, and now shipping lanes under threat in the south. It's like a bunch of small fires burning around the same house, individually manageable. Together, one wrong gust of wind, and it all goes up. Meanwhile, peace talks in Yemen, those are hanging by a thread. It's kind of hard to negotiate when your side is getting bombed and your ports are turning into military zones. And remember, this civil war has already caused one of the worst humanitarian crises on the planet. But this also sets a dangerous precedent. Because if the Houthis, a non-state actor, can pull off this kind of disruption, what's stopping other groups from trying the same thing? What if rebels in West Africa decide to mess with trade through the Gulf of Guinea? Or someone targets the Strait of Malacca, another vital shipping route in Asia? The Red Sea crisis is proving that you don't need to control a country to control the narrative. You just need the right weapons, the right allies, and a trade route that the world can't afford to lose. And what about the future? Some shipping companies might just say, forget it, we are avoiding the Red Sea altogether now. That's not just a temporary detour. That's a permanent shift in the global trade routes. Ports lose business. Regions lose influence. The entire map of global commerce could change. Bottom line is, this isn't just about oil tankers and cargo ships anymore. This is about power, perception, and a new kind of warfare. one where the battlefield is the sea and the prize is the control over global economy. And as for what happens next, honestly, no one really knows. So here's the deal. This isn't just some faraway naval skirmish. This isn't just a thing happening in Yemen. It's a full-blown slow-motion shockwave, and it's already messing with how the world works. A rebel group that most people couldn't name a year ago has managed to hijack cargo ships, shake up the global economy, trigger a multinational military response, and rewrite the rules of modern warfare, all from the coast of Yemen. And the wildest part, you are already feeling it. Higher shipping costs, long delivery times, spikes in gas prices, it's all connected. It's all real, and it's all happening right now. What the Red Sea crisis shows us is this. In a globalized world, you don't need a huge army or a nuclear weapon to make waves. You just need strategic chaos in the right place. And the Houthis, they have found it. So whether you are a policymaker in DC, a shipping executive in Rotterdam, or just someone waiting for your online order to finally show up, this war, it's already on your doorstep. If you found this breakdown helpful, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And if you are curious about how other global choke points are becoming targets, like what's happening in the Panama Canal, check out our previous video right here. Don't forget to subscribe because the world is not getting simpler, but we'll keep breaking it down. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.